Hello, fellow Purple Scratchers! You've all seen and played these awesome online Scratch games, and who hasn't wanted to make their own? Well, today that dream comes true as we take our powerful Cloud Player Sprite, developed over the last 3 episodes of this series, and drop it into our own games. You can choose any game you like, but today I'm going to show you step by step how we can add it to our classic platformer games, instantly transforming them into online platformers supporting 100 players and up. Due to popular demand, I've opened an official Scratch studio for the series, linked under the video, and it's already filling up with your crazy, awesome MMO projects. Very cool. So when you have something fun to share, do visit the studio and ask a curator to have the project added too. I cannot wait to play them. Okay, so wow, let's just address the purple elephant in the room. Yes, purple is the new blue, and love it or hate it, I think the colour scheme is here to stay. And so, my friends, we load up our completed Episode 3 Cloud projects. We're going to get it backpack ready. All our important and backpackable scripts are already in the Cloud Player Sprite, and here they are. And to make them work with our projects, we just need a few scripts to be present in our main game sprite. To be specific, that would be a broadcast to cloud setup, and then in a game loop, the add position X and Y to my values, and a broadcast to cloud tick. That's not much, right? And to make it even easier to remember, we can drag this small block of code into the Cloud Player Sprite too. Okay, great. So these scripts will now be included in our backpackable sprite. So open up your backpack now and drop the entire Cloud Player Sprite in there. Excellent! Time to dig out our old classic platformer projects. I hope you can find them. I love this platforming game engine because it has so many cool features and is really easy to extend and make any number of cool games with. And now we'll make it Cloud Play compatible. The least that we want to achieve is to bring other players into the game. They should move around, animate just like our player, and move from screen to screen. So we'll begin, as always we do, by saving... Oops, watch out, the file menu has moved position. Saving as a new copy, because this is... Oh, what? This isn't going so well. Please try again. Okay, saving as a new copy, for this is the cloud-enabled Scratch platformer. Oh yeah! Step 1. Open our backpacks and drag in the Cloud Player Sprite. I'm going to move mine up to the top of the sprite list for convenience, as I like it next to the main player sprite. Okay, so notice along with our Cloud Player Sprite, Scratch has also helpfully brought in the cloud variables and other required lists. Or at least that's what we are led to believe. Sadly though, these cloud variables look the part, but they are imposters. They're fake, and they don't work at all. And you can tell they're fake because even after reloading, the project doesn't show as being cloud enabled on the project page. So, to fix this, we must remove and re-add each of these cloud variables. But hold on there, we have to be careful because, well, watch this. If I delete Cloud 1 from my project, Scratch also deletes the variables from my scripts. This is terrible, and this will cause all sorts of problems. So let me undo that with Ctrl-Z. And now, the way to safely do this is to click into the stage sprite. And now delete all of the cloud variables 1 through 8. And, without going back into the other sprite, create a new variable. Oh my, this purple and blue is a little clashy. And we add Cloud 1 back into our project. Remember to mark it as a cloud variable. Brilliant. And of course, do the same for Cloud 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and Cloud 8. All cloud variables. And as long as you delete and create them from the stage, none of the other sprite variables get messed up and everything will work as expected. Great! Hide all them variable reporters and find those orphaned game loop scripts we prepared a moment ago. Those are the ones we want to copy into the main player sprite now, so drag them over. And the fun begins. Click into the player sprite, and let's see where these new scripts should go. Well, the initial broadcast to set up the cloud scripts should only run once, So we'll drop that under the when green flag clicked, but before we launch the main menu. This leaves us with the scripts that record the player's position and broadcast to run the cloud scripts. These will need to go into the main game loop. So bring them down. Here's the main game loop. As you can see, we already have a forever loop here. We can transfer our scripts over to the existing one. We just want to ensure we broadcast cloud tick after moving the player, but before that tick last broadcast. Splendid. That's the initial integration complete. And so it's already testing time. Make sure the project is saved. And from the project page, size the window to the left side of the screen. Then we're going to duplicate the tab and pop it over to the right. This makes testing easy. Okay, running the left project. Good. And the right project? Cool. Wow. Oh my. Hath my scratch cat just swelled in size? Yeah, so there was a large cat sat in front of me, but my actual player is still displaying as usual. But look over to the other project, and you'll notice the large second player is moving around following my actions. This is actually really cool. That's all we coded the multiplayer sprite to be able to do. If we want extra functionality, like player animations and direction of movement, which obviously we do, then we have a little bit of extra work to do. But don't worry, it's surprisingly easy. At present, we only send a player's X and Y position through the cloud. We just need to add to this the player's costume and their direction too. Add to my values the costume number. And again, the sprite's direction. Simple. Drop that in after adding the X and Y position. Indeed, these two properties of a sprite are so commonly needed in a multiplayer game, we might consider adding them to the backpackable sprite itself for the next time. In fact, I'll just copy these blocks now. And clicking into the Cloud Player sprite, I'll paste them in, adding them to the orphaned mini script here, just like we do in the real player sprite now. Next, scroll over to the define player clone tick script. And then, down at the bottom, this is where the Cloud Player receives the messages that we just sent. At present, we're just expecting an X and Y position. But of course, we will now be receiving a costume number and a direction. So duplicate the bottom 4 blocks, and we'll start by reading in a new value. And so we switch costume to that val variable we just decoded. Then we read in the next value. This should be the direction. So point in direction, again using the decoded val variable. Awesome, just tidy that up, drop those scripts after the others, and we've read in all 4 values and updated the sprite accordingly, so I think you can give that another test. Now don't forget save, and then reload the right-hand window to get the latest scripts. And then smash those green flags! So, did we miss something? This looks exactly the same. Well, no, not exactly. The second player is now animating. Kind of. And they do change direction, only they flip upside down. Well, both completely explainable. Firstly, flipping upside down. That's a classic case of not having set the direction mode to left-right flipping. And as for the costume animation looking wrong, well, the player sprite has all these costumes, but the cloud player sprite just has these 2. And that is never going to work. We need them to share the exact same set of costumes. So we'll start by removing all the costumes from the Cloud Player sprite. Well, we can't remove the first, so instead, name it Delete Me for later. Then we'll click back into the first sprite, and we'll begin dragging each costume, one at a time, into the Cloud Player sprite. I find it easiest if I count them off as I go, so as not to copy the same one twice or to miss one. Costumes 3, 4, 5, and then scroll down and continue with 6, 7, 8. You get the picture. And yes, we even copy those hitbox costumes, not because they're used in the Cloud sprite, but just because keeping the costume numbers the same is super important. And that makes it easier. Oh, hello guy! You didn't want to be left out, did ya? So the last costume was costume number 36. So when we now click into the Cloud Player sprite, we should find there are 37 costumes. Yes, that's one more. Why? Because we still need to scroll up and delete the leftover Delete Me costume. And feel free to just double check the costume numbers all match up, And if they do, then splendid! We can give that another test to confirm the animations are now playing back correctly, not forgetting to reload that right-hand project. Then here we go. And Scratch-tastic! We have some gorgeous running animations now. This just proves that the costumes were all copied correctly between our sprites. So I can see just two issues remaining now, the turning upside down and our oversized cat sprite. No problem. Click into the Cloud Player sprite and into the direction dialog. Then switch the mode from all around to left, right. And then if we check the size of the original player sprite, it's set to 40. So back in our Cloud Player sprite and set size to 40 to match. And save again. This is going to be good. I've reloaded the right-hand project, and that is beautiful! Finally, the player is moving, animating, and turning just like they are on the first screen. This is so neat! So, are we done? Well, almost. Look what happens when a player moves from one screen to the next. Oh dear, all the players remain on the same screen with you. It looks so weird seeing them floating around on non-existent platforms. So to fix this, we must only display Cloud Player clones when they are on the same scene number as the main player. That's the scene hash variable shown down here. So that will need adding to the growing list of variables sent over the cloud. Back into the player sprite then, and that game loop receiver will pop in one more add to list block, adding in the current player's scene hash variable as the fifth item added to the list. And then back into the Cloud Player sprite. Find the player clone tick script and scroll down to the bottom. We need to read in that fifth value, the Cloud Player's scene number. And using an if-else, check if that value is equal to the main player's scene hash variable. Great, because if it is, then this clone is on the same scene and we can show this sprite. Otherwise, let's just hide it. Sounds simple enough. Shall we give it a try? So here we are on scene 1, and both players are visible. So I'll wander onto scene 2. Oh man, this is not what I was hoping for. The second player should be hidden now, but instead we are toggling between hidden and visible erratically. This is most certainly a bug in my script. What did I miss? So I'm showing and hiding down here, but tell you what, scroll up further, and yes, okay, there's another show block up here. This triggers when reading in a new cloud value, and it's no longer required if we are controlling the visibility lower down, so remove that carefully, but make sure to leave in the hide block here for when the player times out after leaving the game. Right, I'm feeling good about this, so we'll give it another try. Walking to scene 2. Brilliant. And the second player is correctly hidden. Then coming back to scene 1, and there they are, just where we left them. So this is really cool. But you know what? I've just noticed this scene switching is still not quite perfect. You might note that cloud players still hang around on the previous scene as we change over, and this bugs me something rotten. And after a bit of faffing around, I got to the bottom of it. To tighten things up, we need to simply keep track of the scene each player clone was last seen on, and when we change scene, ensure we quickly update the visibility to match. So scroll down and make a new variable, naming it clone scene hash, making sure to create it for this sprite only so that each clone can have their own scene number recorded. Then, after reading in the last val, that's the scene number, we set clone scene hash to val. Then, for clarity, replace this val with the new clone scene hash variable. Right, if you had a dig into the player code, you'd find that the last broadcast in our loop is the tick last, and this one checks for the player moving off the scene, and if they do, we broadcast about to change scene, followed by the actual change scene event. We'll use this to clean up the player clones as the scene changes. So back in the Cloud Player sprite, when I receive change scene. And then, to ensure we don't mess with the clone factory, check if player hash is greater than the empty value. And if it is, then hurrah! Just duplicate that if-else script we made a moment ago to correct the visibility of any clones as the scene switches over. And if all is well, we should now have pretty perfect scene changing at last. Let's see. Switching scene now. Did it work? I think so. Hold on. Checking it out in slow motion. And by Jove, I think we've got it. What a relief. Ha! So, as you can tell, sometimes these scripts need a little tweaking to get the most out of them. Up until now, I'd only used them on scrolling games, so the scene changing was a little new to me. But we got there in the end. And so that's it. We have cloud-enabled the classic platformer. What you do next is up to you. As I mentioned earlier, I've opened up a Scratch studio for your finished projects, and they don't need to be from the classic platformer. I'd be even more excited to see what other projects you are able to cloud-enable using these scripts. If there's any other concepts you'd like covering, like displaying players' usernames above their heads, or how to fire projectiles that everyone can see, then drop me a comment under the video letting me know what you'd find most helpful. But that's all we've got time for today. If you've enjoyed the video, then please smash that like button, and if you haven't already, remember to subscribe to the channel, checking that bell icon to ensure you get notified as soon as my next exciting video lands. But until next time, I hope you have a great week ahead, and scratch on, guys! Go to purple!